Everybody, welcome back. In this video, we are looking at the two NBA games that we have for Sunday. Game 7s, what more could you ask for? We got two of them. Could have had three if the Sixers were able to force one, but that didn't happen. We still got a couple of really good ones. Milwaukee, Boston, Dallas, Phoenix. The series has been crazy. Seen some low scoring, seen some blowouts on both sides. But this one, Game 7, you'd expect all the starters to play monstrous minutes like they have all series, but even more so today. Could see some guys not take any breaks in the second half, play like 45 plus minutes, so it should be a fun one. Let's go ahead and get into it. As always, if you enjoy the picks, appreciate it with the like button, subscribe if you haven't already. You can check out all my socials down below in the description. Let's start off with the point guard picks here. We have Luka Doncic leading it off at 11-6. Luka forced Game 7 with his play in Game 6, leading his team to a 27-point victory. Luka almost had a triple-double in this one. Finished with 69 fantasy points. Missed 5 free throws, but still didn't stop him from dropping 33 real-life points. Got to go ahead and start off my fantasy picks with Luka Doncic, and I might as well just go ahead and put in Giannis as well because it's tough for me to pass up on them. I plugged in Giannis at center right now. We can make some adjustments, but I'm building around these two studs. Giannis, 41 minutes last game, 84 fantasy points. Now, he had a great game. Tatum also did not fall far from the spotlight. He had dropped 46 himself and finished with 67 points. Finished with great shooting percentages, 7 threes, 17 field goals, and 32 attempts at home. Both guys are, it's impossible to play all three of these guys unless you're just absolutely just going for garbage at the other spots, but I would still lean to Luka and Giannis just given what we've seen out of them all series and given their consistent dropping of 70, 60s, even up to 80 fantasy points for each one of them. So going with these two studs, I'll have to go cheaper at these other spots, and there's no problem for me. Other picks at point guard, we've seen Devin Booker be up and down in the series last game. Struggled with his shot, 35%. He's had one really good game in the series where he dropped 52. That was in Dallas. Otherwise, he's been all right. At times, Chris Paul has been really struggling. So if Paul steps up a lot more in this Game 7, even though Scott Foster, I believe, is reffing this game, and Chris Paul hasn't won a Scott Foster game, and I think it's like 0 for 7 or maybe 0 for 10 in his last games in the playoffs against where Scott Foster is the lead ref. So the price tag on Paul is nice at 77, but he's been absolutely killing you if you've been rostering him. 24, 25, 23, and 26. You might have hoped that was his point totals, but that's his fantasy scores. The last 4 games, absolutely killing you. You'd think he'd show up in Game 7, but I'm not going to put my money on it, so I will pass on Chris Paul. I like Brunson a bit at 66, but I'll probably go cheaper with these guys that we have here, so I don't mind getting to Marcus Smart, but I also like Derek White a bit. I'm not sure if Robert Williams will play or not. That could affect the minutes for Derek White, but still he's logging heavy minutes anyways, got up to 30. Last game, he's logged 30 plus in 3 straight, and he's been playing good defense for them. Occasionally can hit some shots. The 2 previous games, he was shooting well. Overall, the postseason hasn't been, but maybe he's been shooting better, so hopefully he has some more confidence. And they're back at home in Boston, where he has played well since he got brought over from the Spurs. So that's going to be the guy I plug in at shooting guard just to get to a value piece that will still let me pay up for at least mid-tier guys and not just go with all the guys in the 3 and 4K range. Over at shooting guard, other options besides Derek White would be top end. If you wanted to play Devin Booker, you probably would have to take away Luka or Giannis in those situations. Brown looks fine at 83. Go a little bit cheaper for me with like Pat Connaughton, another guy that's logging heavy minutes for them, even though for the Bucks, even though he comes off the bench. Like Derek White's the guy for Boston who comes off the bench, gets starter level minutes, and Connaughton is that guy for Milwaukee, especially with the play of Grayson Allen lately. It's led to a lot more minutes for Pat Connaughton. So he had a good fourth quarter last game. They did cut it to 4 at one point. Weren't able to, ultimately overcome that and overcome the play of Tatum. But 44 for Connaughton looks fine. Like, if everybody's going to be off of Grayson Allen, you can look to him. He's still going to get the opportunities just because they need somebody to shoot besides Jrue Holiday and Giannis, and he is that guy that can get hot from 3. It hasn't happened. Celtics have done a great job. They're a great defensive team, a great job of just shutting him down, something that the first series against Chicago they did not do, and they let Grayson Allen drop crazy amounts of threes here, 6 threes, 5 threes. We haven't seen him get open very often, but they got to do something different. So this could be a spot where you might want to go to Grayson Allen, because I'm sure Mike Budenholzer is going to be drawing up some plays for somebody else because they need someone else to step up. Maybe a little bit of a safer option would be like Wesley Matthews, even though he's not as fun of a player to roster because he might not give you that much upside as Grayson Allen does. But he's playing good minutes just with his defense. He can hit the three as well. So he might be better play at 34, and that's the guy I'm going to go ahead and put in at small forward just to get to another value piece that will allow me to pay up for my two superstars. At small forward, Tatum. I like to get to Tatum as well, but it's going to be tough. I still prefer Luka and Giannis. Tatum would be third, and then Devin Booker would be fourth in terms of the superstars I'm targeting. You make multiple lineups, I'm sure you want to have Tatum in at least like half of them. Would be something I would probably do. 55 for Bridges is fine, but I kind of like Finney Smith a little bit more. Last game, he only played 25 minutes because it was a blowout and he was dealing with heavy foul trouble. He did hit his first three, and then he didn't hit any other shot besides a free throw, but it was fine because they still won by 27. But in this spot, like, Finney Smith will be out there for heavy minutes, over 40. Last two games have been blowouts, so we haven't seen full amount, even though he did play 37 in the previous game, but they only scored 80 points total. So a couple of games that you can kind of chalk up. Otherwise, he's been pretty solid for the Mavs all postseason in terms of hitting threes, getting you some rebounds, and playing good defense. So he's a guy in the 5K range that does give you 40-point upside. We've seen it happen throughout the postseason at least a couple of times. Dropped 41 against Phoenix, and then he did drop 41 against Utah earlier in round one. So compare it to guys like Bridges and like Jay Crowder, I think Finney Smith would be my preferred option in terms of the 5K range. Bullock makes some sense as well, but he's more shooting dependent than Finney Smith. And then value would be, once again, maybe Grayson Allen here. You can maybe look to Cam Johnson, but I don't mind getting to Finney Smith myself. Over at center, or go ahead and touch on power forward. It's looking at Tatum here. Depending on the news of Rob Williams, Horford looks better. He hasn't done great recently, but did have that crazy outlier game, which they got the win against the Bucks in Milwaukee in game number 5. So, or was that game? Might have been game 4. But ultimately, Horford's been playing out of his mind for being 35 and logging as many minutes as he does. But price tag isn't super cheap on him anymore. And then Portis, if they happen to shake up the starting lineup and he gets back in there, because like Brook Lopez hasn't done much recently, if they do that, then I like his price tag at $5,000. Otherwise, I'm probably looking at like Maxi Kleber at 49, just another guy that's gonna get good minutes. He 25 and 24 and blowouts here, maybe some foul trouble as well mixed in. But normally, before that, he played 34 and 33, and they definitely want to give him more minutes than like Powell, who's kind of moved away from the rotation. He's still getting a handful of minutes to start, but he's only playing a handful. Like, look at the minutes for Dwight Powell. Hasn't been very pretty for him. He got 17 minutes last game, 8, 10, 10, so not really cracking more than 10 minutes most of these games, and some of these games he just give you one rebound. So I do like Kleber there, but over at the guard position, go ahead and put in another value piece here. Do like Connaughton's price tag at 44. Just think he's pretty affordable if you're looking to get to another value piece on the Milwaukee side. Otherwise, I'm looking at maybe Dinwiddie at 45, or going further down for like Grayson Allen. And then at the forward position, see if there's anybody else we can kind of squeeze in here. It's Maxi Kleber at 49. I like his price. 3K range, don't have much to pick from. Maybe the Bertans can get hot off the bench, but he only plays a handful of minutes. But going with the stars and scrubs build, I'm going to have to go ahead and put in a value piece, and that guy is going to go ahead and it's going to be Pat Connaughton. Just because I have a little bit more confidence in him at this point than Grayson Allen. We can still get to Allen if you wanted to, but Giannis, Connaughton, Matthews, those are going to be the 3 Bucks pieces that I target. One stud, and then got a couple of role players that can hit some threes and play some good defense and get you some rebounds. So that's what I got for DraftKings for this game, for these Game 7s on Sunday. Let's go ahead and look at FanDuel. Right, over on FanDuel, at the point guard position, we got Luka Doncic at 11.6, and then we have a semi-price drop to Drew Holiday at 9K. Holiday is $1,100 more than Chris Paul. Gotta prefer Luka here at the point guard position. Other pieces could be Marcus Smart for sure at 65. Derek White's up to 5K, so it's going to be tougher to get to him. I'd rather get to Dinwiddie at 43, and then maybe if you look into a mid-range play, you can squeeze in Jalen Brunson. Over at shooting guard, pay up is Luka, but you can play him at point guard. So looking at Devin Booker, Drew Holiday, probably like Devin Booker more at home. Game 7. I do like Holiday, but I'm probably looking to get to Giannis and a couple of other value pieces on Milwaukee, so I might not want to squeeze in like 4 Milwaukee pieces onto one lineup. Value-wise, you're looking at maybe Smart. Brunson looks all right at his price. Dinwiddie at 43 just to get to a value piece. But I do have some Milwaukee pieces right here. 38 for Grayson Allen and 38 for Wesley Matthews. I think you might want to get to one of them at least just to free up some salary at payoff for the superstars. And Matthews starting playing up to like 30 plus minutes, up to like 34, 35. He's shooting well and playing good defense. Can't get much cheaper than 35 in a game 7. Small forward, Giannis is here at $12,000. Tatum is $11K, so only $1,000 difference between the two. You got to prefer Giannis all day over Tatum, even though he's on the road, but Giannis averaging 12 more fantasy points in the regular season. But playoffs, I know Tatum had dropped 68, but same game Giannis dropped 80, so it's tough to justify going to Tatum instead of Giannis on FanDuel. Draftkings, a different story with the pricing with there being more of a gap between the two. Mid-range, definitely Finney Smith at 52 looks solid. Connaughton looks all right at 45. You can maybe go to Grayson Allen, but I'll put ahead and put in Finney Smith at 52. I don't even mind getting to Brown instead of Tatum on FanDuel. Like, you're saving $2,500. Tatum did have a great game, and people might jump to Tatum, but we've seen Brown step up nicely in the playoffs as well. He's had some games where he's outscored Tatum for fantasy. Power forward, I'm putting in Giannis. Other picks would be the same value pieces I mentioned, like Connaughton, maybe Cam Johnson. I like Maxi Kleber for sure at only $4,300. And then over at center, you have a decent price tag on Ayton, but he hasn't done great throughout the series. Like, he's had some okay games, but nothing out of the ordinary. I'm probably going to go ahead and put in a value piece here, and that's going to be Maxi Kleber at 43, just like the minutes that he plays. Plugged in some Dallas pieces, but actually kind of like they're targeting their team better than the Suns. Like, Suns have been kind of tough to figure out this series at least. Like, seen some okay games from Booker. We've seen some terrible games from Chris Paul. And then the role players on the Suns are a lot tougher to pin down than the role players on the Mavs. So that's what I got. I wouldn't be surprised if the Mavs steal it, especially with it being Scott Foster. And, Luka and Booker, they're going back and forth. So we'll see. In the Boston-Milwaukee, I think Boston will take it. But wouldn't mind it being close or being the other way. But hopefully we just get 2 good games. 2 games that aren't blowouts, and we'll have some fun watching basketball all Sunday. So thanks for watching. Best of luck, guys. You can check out the website if you want to. Check out Twitter as well, and I'll see you all next time.